I'm starting off with this stem here, and I'm going to use the brown 839, and I've decided to do a chain stitch. Now I'm actually starting in the center at the cross section of these 4 stems, and I'm going to start each chain stitch here and move out, come back here, move out, come back here and move out. Next, I'm going to do the leaves once again in a fly stitch, and I'm using the light olive green number 734. Next, I'm going to outline these petals here using the light blue 503, and I'm going to be using a back stitch. While I've still got my light blue threaded onto my needle, I'm now going to add a small French knot over here. Now to fill this shape here, I'm actually inclined to do a beautiful needle weave to create some really lovely texture. I've kept this very simple and this very simple and this very simple, so I think that adding a needle weave over here is not going to be too much work. And I'm using the red number 22. Now to do the needle weave, you need to first lay down single long stitches from one side to another. And notice that I'm leaving little gaps in between. So you can see there's a small gap in between those 2 stitches, and that I'm coming out with my needle on the same side as I go in. So I go in on this side and then come out on the same side straight away. If you can hear that whooshing sound, it's actually just started raining and I'm sitting outside on the pergola. Okay, that's enough. I've actually fitted in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches running from side to side. Now we're going to start weaving, coming down vertically. I'm going to bring my needle up right in the middle there, and then using the back part of the needle, I'm going to weave it under and over and under and over. Now this is a little bit fiddly, but the results are worth it. Once you get to this side, stab your needle in to secure it, and then come out nice and close. So this time you're coming out closer, we're not leaving gaps. You're going to come out as though you're doing a satin stitch. And now you're going to go over, under, opposite to what you've done previously, still with the blunt end of the needle. Pull that through, stab the needle in, and come out again nice and close. Now don't worry if these stitches here are quite sort of gappy, because the more you keep adding, the more they'll start squashing together and it'll have a very nice result. Once again, go opposite, over, under, over, under, pull through and stab it in. Now continue on this side, and then when you finish there, start and continue on this side. As you get closer towards the edges, it is going to be a bit trickier to slide the needle under, so you might just have to do it under one stitch at a time. So I'll pull that through, and then I'll pull that through, stab that in, and that's finished on that side. Now I'm going to start over here. You can push the stitches across if they're getting a little bit loose from time to time. And now I'm actually just doing one stitch at a time because it's getting quite tight. There we go, that's mine finished. Now, if this is your first time doing this kind of needle weave, you might be worried about how your edges look. If you're not happy with the edges, you could always outline this shape with a simple stem stitch. I'm actually going to zhuzh up this flower a little bit more by doing a whipped stitch using this light olive 734. I brought my needle up right at the very beginning of that back stitch, and then all I'm going to do is just weave it around that existing back stitch. Always make sure that you're coming in from the same side, so you want to weave it around. What I mean by that is that you always come in from here. Don't now start coming in from this side, because you'll lose that lovely twist. Now make sure that you keep things nice and neat by continuing the line of the petal. So from this point, just continue whip stitching down here. Don't suddenly change direction and start going up this way. You'll get a much neater finish if you follow the lines of those petals. Now once you get to the bottom of that petal, stab your needle in, and then you're going to come up over here and begin the next one going in that direction. From here you're going to stab it in and come out here and go down in that direction. Now I'm very happy with the way this has turned out, but just lastly I want to add some small single stitches on the outside of the flower. Now with these you could add more of these lines coming out. You could also add a little French knot on the end, but I think I'm happy with that. So now go ahead and repeat all the stitches that you're choosing for this design and do them on all of the leaves and the remaining flowers.